Okay, so this is a quick introduction to our next short story. It's titled "Hey, Come On Out." I think. I think that's how you pronounce that. But that'll make more sense in a second too. A little background. So this is written by Shinichi Hoshi. He was born in Tokyo in 1926. And a little interesting thing about him, he went to school for pharmacy, and then there was kind of this crash and this bankruptcy, and the pharmacies, I think they're family pharmacies he was working at, um, went totally bankrupt. He was kind of forced to do something else. And he started writing. And it coincidentally was the same year that Japan's first science fiction magazine came out. And his first short story was included in that first science fiction magazine in Japan. And at the time, kind of like now, but it's more accepted now, but especially then, science fiction was kind of seen as, I don't know, not real art, not real writing, just really like, I don't know, kids stuff that was, I don't know, trash. Um, and so the fact he was published in that first magazine in Japan, it's interesting because he went on to write, like it says, over 1,000 sci-fi stories. He became this prolific, super important Japanese writer. And it's just interesting that his first story was like in the first magazine, and his growth like corresponded with sci-fi's growth. Anyways, he's really known for short, kind of fun stories that can be enjoyed by lots of people. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons he's been so successful. He's been translated into like all the world's languages, maybe not all, but lots. And I think it's because they're these like nice short snippets that are probably as true as they were in Tokyo, as they are in Canada, as they are around the world. Like they can be appreciated by all ages, all around the world. And unfortunately, he passed away in 1997, but he's left a huge legacy. Um, in our last kind of practice reading we did like this, I talked a little bit about question types. Remember, I said like multiple choice exams, reading comprehension exams, they have some kind of standard questions. And if you know what type of question is, you can approach the question in a different way. Like we talked about idea and support questions, we talked about technique questions, we talked about vocabulary questions, we talked about tone questions. And I want you to kind of think back, an idea and support question that's asking about, okay, here's an idea, which of these details support it? Or maybe here's a detail, which idea does it prove? Technique questions are like, why did the author do this? Vocab questions, what does this word mean in context? And tone questions, like here's a phrase, what's the attitude or voice behind it? Those were, we focused on in the first unit. But like I said, not every question is going to only be one of those four, right? So on this one, I want you to kind of recognize what other questions are out there. I don't want to immediately say, you're going to see these types of questions, but I want you to recognize maybe it's those four, but what other types of questions do you see on this practice reading comprehension? So maybe you'll recognize, oh, this is like, it's asking me about symbolism here. It's asking me about character development or some of the topics we covered, but recognize the question type to help you know how to answer the question. Same as before. So, in a second, I'm going to come back, and when you're done, just like the last one, when you're done, you can do it a couple times, but there'll be some, I don't know, feedback waiting for you, and a video from me where I will review, hey, come on out, 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 however you pronounce that title. Okay, see you when you're done the practice.